Hello and welcome back to the FPL Talk channel, and today we're here with a bit of a different video. We're not focused on FPL, but we're actually focused on the summer transfers that have been made for the Premier League sides, and we are going to rank them in this tier list that you can see on the screen now. We're going to start with players, and then we are going to rank some Premier League kits that have been released so far. Obviously, all of them haven't been officially released yet, but we will do the ones that have been. But this should be pretty interesting. Obviously, there's been some big money moves this year in the summer transfer window, and some quite interesting ones as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first player we've got is Koulibaly. Now, Koulibaly signing for Chelsea is a big move for them because they've lost Rudiger, they lost Christensen, and they could also be losing Azpilicueta. So it's very important they got a centre-back in to solidify their defence, especially because they play a back three. They can't rely on just Thiago Silva who they have at the minute, and there's not really too much else other than like Sarr, who just isn't Premier League ready. But Koulibaly is up there with the world's best centre-backs. People saying if he played in the Premier League from his younger years, he would have got a lot more recognition for how good he actually was. But finally, he has got his move to the Premier League, and this could be a big chance for him to prove himself to the world. And people have always said that he has been quite good for Napoli, and he's played there for so many years in the Serie A, and always been in a few team of the seasons especially. So obviously, he's one to watch. We had Romero go to Spurs at the beginning of last season, and look how incredible he was from the Serie A. And quite a few players are moving over this time. We've also got Perisic as well, who's come from the Serie A. And also Scamacca, who could be joining West Ham, is moving over, hopefully, if we can get that finalised, which would be great. But for me, Koulibaly has to go in. Great signing. I feel like because of his age, he obviously can't be a future club legend, but he's a very great signing for him, and he should help solidify their defence, which they can only improve on because Reece James and Chilwell should have less injuries this season. Next up, we've got Phillips. Yeah, it's an interesting one because obviously he's sacrificed his game time really, because he's not going to start over Rodri, is he? Let's be honest, but he's going to be able to play a lot of games still because of Pep Roulette, and as a player, you want to be winning the best trophies you can possible, and this is going to only help him. Obviously, he did suffer with injuries at the end of last season, but we did see the quality that he had in the Euros playing alongside Declan Rice, where he was just absolutely incredible and did show us what he could do, proving all the doubters wrong, to be honest. For me, I'm going to put Calvin Phillips as solid, just because I don't think he can be a great signing, because he's not going to start games, and if you look at the impact Koulibaly is going to have on Chelsea, it's going to be far greater than what Calvin Phillips is going to have on Man City's side, just because they've got so much depth. And then we've got Lewis Potter now. A lot of people considered him like Jared Bowen to be very young but upcoming, and a lot of potential there. And I honestly can't say I've watched a lot of him, to be fair, because he's been playing in the Championship. But then again, I didn't watch a lot of Bowen, and look how great he's become. But this move to Brentford really could do Lewis Potter good, and it gives him a chance to prove himself in the Premier League. So I'm going to go, you know what, I'm going to go for a solid signing. Next up, we do have Koundé. Now, as I said before, it's not quite over the line because Barcelona are trying to hijack the deal. Oof, it's a tough one. I'm gonna put him in. If they do get him, it'll be a great signing, you know, French international, and he really will help again solidify that defence. And Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, and Koundé at the back. Damn, that is a good back three if they can get that. Now we've got Lisandro Martinez. A lot of people mocking him for his height because he's not, you know, the tallest of centre-backs ever compared to, you know, like Harry Maguire and Varane, who United already have. However, obviously the new manager, Ten Hag, must trust him to have signed him. And, you know, he's got to be all right. I'm going to put him in solid because, again, I haven't watched too much of him, but to be moving for that much money to Manchester United, you've got to have something about you. You must have good reading of the game. And we'll just have to wait and see. You can't judge a book by its cover just because of his height. You can't really mock him. Next up, we've got Christian Eriksen. Now, he's going straight in, great signing. I don't even care if he doesn't start for United or he's on the bench. He's just absolutely incredible. We saw how influential he was for Brentford last season. When he joined, they won so many more games than when he didn't play. And if you look at that record, it's crazy. I feel like Brentford are going to struggle a lot more this year without Christian Eriksen, just because they don't have that creative spark and that supply that Tony can get up front with and Buemo. But we'll have to wait and see. But for me, Eriksen is only going to help that creative option that United can use and supply. You know, they've got Ronaldo up front, and look how good Eriksen is at pinging those balls in the box. He can only supply Ronaldo with the balls that he needs and trust Ronaldo to finish them. And I wouldn't want anyone else other than Ronaldo to probably be on the end of him. One of the best finishers in the world, despite his age. He just knows where to be from experience. Next up, we got Fabio Vieira. Now, he did move for a big figure. And again, I can't really say too much about him. Moving from the Liga NOS. Luis Diaz moved from there and proved that he could play in the Premier League and be one of the best in the Premier League. So whether Fabio Vieira can actually do that is another question. He has got the Vieira name in him, but for that sort of money, he's quite young, and I'm guessing he does have a lot of quality if you're moving for a big figure. So I'm going to put him in solid. Again, we'll have to wait and see what he does. Luis Cenestria. Now, is that Luis Cenestria? I can't tell because of the writing. I know who he is, though. He's come from Feyenoord. He is signed for Leeds United, and he's a bit of a replacement for Rafinha. Now, I'm going to put him in solid because obviously you can never properly replace Rafinha, but this Cenestria has produced some great numbers in the Eredivisie, and he looks to be lightning quick and have a bit of flair about him. So it'll be a good one to watch. And whether he can walk in Rafinha's footsteps and prove to the people in the Premier League that he can be one of the best, just like Rafinha did, will be the question to answer. But he's obviously not going to follow as greatly in Rafinha's steps, so I can't rank him too much higher. Gabriel Jesus. Going to have to put him in great signing. We saw what he's done in pre-season. He's literally scored in every game he's played in pre-season so far, helping them beat Chelsea 4-0 the other day as well. And he just looks to be a great deal. Obviously, Arsenal really needed that number 9 position since Aubameyang fell off quite a bit, and he's gone to Barca and done okay. And Lacazette has gone to Lyon, and he just didn't perform to the best. He wasn't a natural finisher. When we look at Gabriel Jesus, he is more prolific and more clinical with his chances, and that could be exactly what Arsenal need this season, which could really help them do well. Now I've got Malacia. Again, he's been okay in pre-season. I'm going to put... He's a solid signing, isn't he? He's a good left-back. He played in the Conference League final last season and did pretty well, so I'm going to put him there. Haaland, he is going to be our first future club legend just because he's so young. And look at the goals he scored already. You don't even need to say too much about him. He scored in his debut as well versus Bayern Munich, and he's just quality, isn't he? Like, if he can avoid injury, like, that's the only thing that could stop this man becoming great. Injuries, just because he's so injury prone. But if he can avoid the injuries, he could be a future club legend. The amount of goal. He's got De Bruyne supplying him with Mahrez, Grealish all around him. He could be incredible. Next up, we've got Aaron Hickey. Again, I don't know too much about him. He is young. I'm just going to put him in solid. He moved for quite a big fee. But again, I can't really tell you too much about him because I haven't watched him at all. Diego Carlos, yeah, again, he's going in solid. We're having a lot of solids here because they're not risky because, they've already played quite a very good standard. I mean, Lewis Potter could be the only one I would say was risky just because he's not Premier League proven. You know what? Just to have one there. I'm going to put him there. Just to have one there. Aaron Hickey, well, actually, I don't know why I put him in solid because it is quite a big money move and he's not been proven as of yet to a high quality standard. So we'll put those two in risky just to mix it up. Jed Spence, I feel like this is actually a solid signing because of how good he was in the Championship last season. Helped Forest to get promoted. And he is only young. We see the talent he does have, so we've got to watch out for him. Will he start? Most likely. I think he's better than Doherty and Emerson Royale, so we'll have to see on that one. Aguard, now this is a frustrating one for me. He's definitely going in solid. A big defender to play in our defence. But he's already got injured, and it's a doubt whether he'll play against Man City on the first day. And we need every defender we can get to stop that man at the top of the tier list because I do not want Haaland scoring a hat-trick against us first day. And Aguard coming from the French League, yeah, it could be a Farmers League, but he's already been good in pre-season for us despite that ankle injury, so we'll have to wait and see. Again, I can't tell you too much about... I can't say his name. Awonjui. It's something like that. He's come from the Bundesliga, specifically the Union Berlin. But again, he's not Premier League proven. And all these players that aren't Premier League proven, unless they played in the Champions League or Europa League, could be considered quite a risk. And I feel like he could be for Forest. Forest are obviously going to have to take a lot of risks because they've got to try and stay in the Premier League. And they've got to find players that are willing to join, just like Jesse Lingard, who hopefully could fit the system. Then we've got Bazunu. who I actually think is a solid signing. Obviously, I first heard about Bazunu when he saved that penalty from Cristiano Ronaldo, and ever since he's only gone leaps and bounds, and he's finally got a move to Southampton. And I won't go for him in FPL, but it is a solid signing, because if he can continue proving himself, Southampton could have a very good long-term keeper there. Basuma, solid signing. I don't think he's good as people make him out to be, but obviously he's got a bit about him. He was wanted by United as well. But he's just a very, very solid player, and that is why he's going to go in the solid section. Just adding to Spurs' depth, which you obviously need when you're in the Premier League. Kamara, I mean, I think they got Kamara on like a free, or for very cheap if it was. So Aston Villa, again, adding to their depth, and that's going to have to be a solid one. Eriksen, I mean, it's going to have to go. It's going to have to go in risky. He's not Premier League proven, and I don't know too much about him, so he's going to go in risky. Again, Decore, not the Decore we always know, a different Decore. He's also going to have to go in risky. Coutinho, just what a player. He is one of the people, right, that made me fall in love with football. When he was banging in those goals for Liverpool back in the day. And I know that move to Barca didn't quite work out for him, but literally when he was banging in the goals for Liverpool, it was absolutely incredible. And I remember seeing some of them live, and oh, what a player. And we have seen glimpses of it. Darwin Núñez. Now, will Darwin Núñez be a future club legend? I'm going to put great signing at the very front of great signing. He is a really good young striker, and he's just not quite got the legacy I think that Haaland might, but he might prove me wrong this first Prem season, but I can't see him being a club legend. He's moved for so much money, but he just doesn't strike me as someone who could be class. Oh, it's tempting to move him to future club legend, but I'm going to keep him there. I'm going to keep him in great signing, because I do think he is a good number 9. And with Sadio Mane going, Liverpool really did need to get someone in. And getting Darwin Núñez in, someone who has proven that they can score loads of goals in a season. It's just whether he can do it in the Premier League, we'll have to see. But a good move, definitely. Then we've got Perisic. Again, I'm going to put him in great signing. Obviously, he is suffering with a few injuries as of late, but he's been managed under Conte before. He's Champions League experience, played in a World Cup final. I mean, what more do you want in a left wing back? Especially because a lot of Spurs fans were not happy with Reguilon, and who's the other one they have? Ryan Sessegnon. And Sessegnon played quite well at the end of the season, but people not really favouring those two. And even Perisic is only going to strengthen Spurs and help them try and win a trophy. Yes, they won a pre-season trophy, but that doesn't count. All right, that does not count. Then we've got Nathan Collins from Burnley to Wolves. Again, a solid. I went to go and watch a random Premier League game, Burnley versus Southampton, and he scored in that game. Again, just a Burnley defender. That's what you would expect. Except I've seen a video saying, how can this be a Burnley defender when he went on that amazing run for his international side? But, you know, a good solid defender, nothing wrong with him. A bit like a Tarkowski or a Ben Mee, literally a regen. Nico Williams for Forest. I mean, considering Forest are trying to stay up, he's a young player. He's on. I think he's on loan. He is, yeah. And he's played a bit, and he's proven he has got some quality. But obviously, he's very inexperienced. And if I was a team trying to stay up, you know what? I'm moving him to risky. If I was a team trying to stay up and not get relegated, I would certainly make sure that I had experienced players. And maybe Nico Williams might not be the way, so that is quite risky. But he does have some qualities. And when he was on loan last season at Fulham, he did prove those towards the latter stages of the season. But I do think he's slightly risky. Palhinha, I mean, I think he's going to go up there in solid. Not that far, though. I haven't ranked some of the lower ones in the solid section, but Palhinha, you know, a lot of hype has been around him, a Portuguese international. Some of the top clubs like PSG wanted him at one point, and he actually ended up going to Fulham. So that is a good move for them, a big money move, and they look like they're investing a lot better this year, but they did that in previous years. People said that, and then they just flopped, so we'll have to wait and see. Raheem Sterling, great signing. One of the all-time Premier League best wingers. Obviously won multiple Premier Leagues at Man City, and he's a very direct, quick player, very sharp player. He gets slated because he does miss from 5 yards out, which never helps the cause. But other than that, he's a great player, and he really, really helped Chelsea going forward, because Chelsea have been lacking a bit of creativity. I'm just scrolling down to see those players there. We do have Richarlison. Again, I think Richarlison... part of me wants to put him in solid. I don't think he's worth how much Spurs signed him for. But it gives him great depth going in their attacking sense of play. Just because if Kulusevski, Son... or Kane get injured, then it frees up the path for Richarlison to play, and they have someone very, very reliable. Yes, he was in a relegation battle last season, but he was part of the reason why Everton stayed up with his goals, so he's a very good one. Sven Botman is going in to a great signing. He obviously won the French League with Lille, not last season, but the season before, and he's a very young defender, very tall defender, and with his potential, I think he could really benefit Newcastle going forward, and he could be a great centre-back in years to come. James Tarkowski, solid. He's been proven his worth at Burnley for a long, long time. A very, very solid defender. As I say, obviously a bit better than Nathan Collins, but he loves a tackle, and I think he fits right in at Everton. Especially Everton need a bit of experience. They've not been doing the best, and he can help with that bit of leadership he's got, and help solidify them. Then we've got Tyler Adams, who I'm going to put in solid. Again, not Premier League proven, but he's done very well apparently in that Leipzig side, and they're getting the Americans in. They like the Americans, and the manager really does like him, and he's obviously going to have a connection with him. Hopefully that American they've got between them will help them gel and play better. But I do like Tyler Adams. I think he could be very good for Leeds in the coming games and season. And then last one, we've got Zinchenko, who I am going to put in a great signing. I really think Zinchenko is a great signing for him, just because he's very versatile. He can play, obviously, in midfield like he does internationally, and left-back. And, yes, okay, Man City is selling a lot of their players to Arsenal, but you've got to remember, they've got that connection with Arteta, and I wouldn't want to be at Man City. Yeah, you're going to win trophies, but as a footballer, do you actually want to be a footballer or just win trophies and get a name for yourself? Because you're not going to do that sitting on the bench all the time. And Zinchenko obviously wants to prove a point. Arteta does have a project going that's looking really good now, and I think Zinchenko is seeing that and wanting part of it. But that is my tier list. No terrible signings. I mean, obviously they're all not on here, and I'm never going to mark someone as a terrible signing until they play and we see how actually they are. But that is my tier list. Let me know what you disagree with. Obviously, some of these players I haven't watched, so my judgment might be a bit dodgy. But get in the comments, where would you rank some of these players? And if so, where are you changing them to? And without further ado, let's get into a bit of a kit ranker. So I have to say, not all the kits are on here, but most of the home kits are. As you can see, Fulham do not have a kit there, and there's not many, well, I don't think there's any away kits on there, so we're going to be scoring all the home kits. Now, Bournemouth, again, this is probably one you really like or you don't, but I actually think that is quite decent. I'm not going to put it in average, but I think it's decent. This Arsenal kit, I just love the collar on the kit. It's very similar to the United one, but it just looks very fresh. And I do like the bit on the end of the collar as well. So I think the Arsenal kit is top tier, and their away kit, that black and gold kit, is just beautiful. I mean, Villa, it's just average. It's not meh, but it's just average. Again, the Brentford kit, it's all right. And then I think the Brighton one's got to go meh. It's just, I just don't like the yellow on it really. And it's literally the same kit as last year, so that just doesn't really work for me. Now, I'm going to put this Chelsea kit in decent. Now, the blue, light blue waves they've got on it, I actually do quite like. A lot of people don't, but I think the kit has grown on people as they've seen the players wear it and all sorts. So, we'll put that one there. Then we've got the Crystal Palace kit, which I actually think is decent. Okay, again, people don't like it. They say it looks like a crayon that has been scribbled on there, but I actually think it's quite decent. The Everton kit, it's just average again. There's nothing special about it. And they've got a pink away kit, which is quite controversial. I actually don't mind it, but a lot of Everton fans are not pleased with it. Fulham, well, you haven't got a kit, so you're going in terrible. This Leeds United kit, it's going at the bottom of decent. It could be an average, but the bottom of decent, I say. This Cardiff, is that Cardiff or Leicester? I honestly can't see. It's that small. If I have a look, I think it's Leicester. Yeah, it's Leicester. So I'm just going to put that one in average. Again, we don't have Cardiff in this, I don't think. So unless that is Cardiff's kit, but I'm pretty sure it is Leicester, yes. That is average. Again, there's not much change in there. And I mean, these teams don't really have much changes in their kits over the years. The Liverpool kit, I mean, it's going at the top of average. It's nothing special compared to previous kits. I mean, it's okay, but I'm not going to rank it any higher than average. This Man City kit, I actually quite like the maroon colour on it with the white and the blue. It all goes well together. So I'm going to put that in the bottom of decent. This United kit, mwah, it is going in top tier. No, not there, top tier. That, again, the colour, the white and red, it just really works for me. And I think they've nailed that kit design, to be honest. Newcastle, let's be honest, it's average. It's the same as normal, nothing special once again. I mean, their away kit, they've been Saudi Arabia inspired, and they've gone for literally what the national team had, which is interesting. This Forest kit is going in meh. That is meh. I don't care what you say. This Southampton kit is, just above average. I don't mind it. The stripe down the middle isn't too bad. This Spurs kit, again, the Spurs kit can go in the near the top of average. The away kit is horrible, by the way. It looks like a training top. When I saw it on my Instagram and I was looking, I was like, is that actually their kitting? Yeah, it was their away kit. West Ham's, originally I didn't like it. I'm going to put it in average. It's not decent. It's definitely not decent, but our kit has grown on me since wearing it. And the away kit I do very much like, to be fair. And then the Wolves kit is going in. I mean, that is pretty meh. It's meh. It's going in meh. Let me know what you think about some of those kits. Where would you rank them if you had the opportunity to change my opinion? But that is the video for today. I hope you've enjoyed. A bit of a different one, but I quite enjoyed it. So please leave a like on the video if you have enjoyed. And do subscribe if you are new here. And I'll see you in the next one.